The paper explores the divergence between event extraction, EAE, and event argument extraction, EAE, research, focusing on the phenomenon of event co-occurrences. It introduces a novel non-autoregressive generation framework called TabEAE, which extends the prompt-based EAE model PAIE to extract arguments of multiple events concurrently. This approach reformulates EAE as a problem of table generation, leveraging the encoding, prompt construction, and span selection modules from PAIE. The paper also discusses three training-inference schemes: single-single, multi-multi, and multi-single, with multi-single performing best on ACE, RAMS, and WikiEvents benchmarks, and multi-multi on the MLEE benchmark where nested events are prevalent. The research highlights the importance of considering event co-occurrences in EAE, as it improves the model's ability to distinguish the semantic boundary of each event and enhance its performance in extracting single events. The study contributes to the field by bridging the gap between EAE and EAE research and outperforms state-of-the-art EAE methods on 4 benchmarks. It also introduces the concept of text-to-table, a relatively new problem in the area of controllable natural language generation, and utilizes a non-autoregressive table generation framework to solve it. The paper provides a comprehensive overview of recent works on EAE, categorizing them into 4 types: span-based, queue-based, sequence-to-sequence, and prompt-based methods. It emphasizes the significance of event co-occurrences and their potential to enhance EAE models' performance. The proposed methodology, TabEAE, offers a new perspective on tackling EAE tasks, utilizing table generation to capture the correlations between events and their arguments efficiently. In the context of event argument extraction, EAE, TabEAE is a non-autoregressive table generation framework that aims to provide a comprehensive view of the problem by considering all events co-occurring in the same context. This framework consists of 4 components: trigger-aware context encoding, slotted table construction, non-autoregressive table decoding, and span selection. The trigger-aware context encoding component marks each trigger with a pair of markers and tokenizes the marked text into a sequence for encoding. The slotted table construction component initializes the representation of the table by concatenating the encoding of the column header and the initial representations of the argument slots. The non-autoregressive table decoding component updates the representation of the input table via structure-aware self-attention and cross-attention between the table and the encoder output. It uses a structure-aware self-attention mask to ensure that each element of the table can only attend to the region related to it. The span selection component transforms each representation vector into a span selector, which is responsible for selecting a span from the text to fill in the argument slot. This process involves computing logit scores for start and end positions, then calculating the score for each possible span and identifying the optimal span using the argmax function. TabEAE also proposes 3 training inference schemes: single-single, multi-multi, and multi-single. These schemes differ in how they handle the marking of triggers in the input text during training and inference, affecting how the model learns to extract events. The multi-multi scheme allows the model to learn to extract single events as well, as a significant portion of training instances have only one event. The research paper presents a novel approach to event argument extraction, EAE, called TabEAE, which leverages a large-scale pre-trained language model, PLM, and a specifically designed decoder to extract event arguments from unstructured text. The authors evaluate TabEAE on 4 benchmark datasets, including ACE05, RAMS, WikiEvents, and MLEE, and compare its performance with several state-of-the-art, SOTA, methods. The experimental results show that TabEAE is competitive with SOTA models, achieving high scores in terms of strict argument identification F1, ARG-I, and strict argument classification F1, ARGC, on all 4 datasets. Notably, TabEAE outperforms SOTA models on ACE05 and WikiEvents when trained to extract all events in parallel during inference. The authors also analyze the effect of the training-inference scheme on the performance of EAE models, finding that TabEAE benefits from extracting all events in parallel during inference, especially on datasets with a high proportion of instances with multiple events. The paper provides implementation details, including the use of PyTorch and an NVIDIA Tesla A100 GPU, and the initialization of the decoder's weight with the remaining 7 layers of Robert Alarge. The authors also describe the experiment setup, including the evaluation metrics and the 4 benchmark datasets used. Additionally, the paper provides a detailed description of the datasets in the appendix. The comparison with SOTA methods, including EEQA, BART-GEN, ZAR, PAY, and degree, shows that TabEAE is a competitive approach to EAE. The analysis of the training-inference scheme reveals that TabEAE benefits from extracting all events in parallel during inference, especially on datasets with a high proportion of instances with multiple events. The distribution of the number of events per instance, as shown in Figure 3, also influences the performance of TabEAE. Overall, the paper presents a novel approach to EAE and provides insights into the effect of the training-inference scheme on the performance of EAE models. The paper explores the concept of event co-occurrences in event argument extraction, EAE, and proposes a novel text-to-table framework, TabEAE, which can extract multiple events in parallel. The authors hypothesize that TabEAE can better capture the event semantic boundary when trained to extract all events concurrently. To verify this, they compare the performance of TabEAE with different training-inference schemes in terms of extracting the arguments of overlapping events. The results show that TabEAE performs better when trained to extract all events concurrently, with significant performance gains on extracting the arguments of overlapping events. Specifically, the differences of performance gains are 0.5 argcf1 on ACE05, 0.4 argcf1 on RAMs, 1.8 argcf1 on WikiEvents, and 0.9 argcf1 on MLEE. The authors also measure the model's ability to capture the event semantic boundary from 2 points of view: intravent semantic and inter-event semantic. For intravent semantic, they compare the performance of TabEAE with different training-inference schemes in terms of extracting the arguments of overlapping events. For inter-event semantic, they compare the performance of TabEAE with different training-inference schemes in terms of extracting arguments of different distances to the triggers. The results show that TabEAE gets better at extracting arguments around the event boundary. An ablation study is conducted to verify the effectiveness of different components of TabEAE. The results show that the structure-aware attention mask, pre-computed encodings of the input table, and handcrafted prompts are essential components of TabEAE. Replacing the encoder-decoder of TabEAE with BART encoder-decoder degrades the model's performance. A case study is also conducted to illustrate the effectiveness of TabEAE in capturing the event semantic boundary. The results show that TabEAE can avoid mistakes made by PAIE, demonstrating a stronger capacity to capture the event semantic boundary. The paper discusses the limitations of their work in event argument extraction, EAE, a task that involves identifying and categorizing event arguments from a given text. They acknowledge the need for further exploration in areas such as iterative extraction, coarse learning, and automatic prompt construction. The authors also note that their model's high performance relies heavily on manual prompts, which limits its application to scenarios where high-quality prompts are not available or difficult to construct. They reference various studies on event extraction, including those focusing on document-level event argument extraction, multi-sentence argument linking, and deep neural networks for event extraction from biomedical texts. The authors also cite research on language models, like BART and Roberta, which have shown robust performance in natural language processing tasks. In addition, the paper highlights the importance of understanding entity co-references, a phenomenon often overlooked in narrative documents. This limitation could impact the model's ability to determine underlying relations between entities, crucial for EAE. The authors propose addressing this in future studies. The paper concludes by mentioning several key points for improvement, including the development of more efficient and effective models for EAE, the need for better understanding of event and entity relationships, and the importance of creating robust evaluation metrics for the task. This research paper presents a comprehensive overview of existing datasets and hyperparameter settings for document-level event argument extraction (EAE) tasks. The authors provide a detailed profile of 4 datasets: ACE05, RAMS, WikiEvents, and MLEE, highlighting their statistics, including the number of event types, arguments per event, and events per text. The authors also discuss their hyperparameter settings, which are mostly adopted from Ma et al. 2022, with some manual tuning for each dataset. The trial intervals and final hyperparameter configurations are presented in Table 6. Notably, the authors experiment with different numbers of encoder-decoder layers and find that the optimal setting is 17 encoder layers and 7 decoder layers, which coincides with recent findings in machine translation and spell checking. The paper also describes the prompt construction process for each dataset. For ACE05, RAMS, and WikiEvents, the prompts are directly adopted from Li et al. 2021 and Ma et al. 2022, which are manually constructed from the predefined ontology associated with each dataset. For MLEE, the authors manually construct the prompts in a similar manner. The authors provide a thorough analysis of the datasets, including their statistics and preprocessing procedures. They also highlight the importance of hyperparameter tuning and prompt construction for achieving optimal performance in EAE tasks. The paper serves as a valuable resource for researchers working on document-level EAE, providing insights into dataset characteristics, hyperparameter settings, and prompt construction strategies. The table presented on page 13 outlines a comprehensive set of natural language prompts for the MLEE dataset, which is designed to capture various biological events and processes. These events include cell proliferation, development, blood vessel development, growth, death, breakdown, remodeling, synthesis, gene expression, transcription, protein processing, DNA methylation, metabolism, catabolism, phosphorylation, dephosphorylation, pathway participation, localization, binding, regulation, positive regulation, negative regulation, and planned processes. Each prompt is structured to describe specific events or entities at particular sites, allowing for precise identification and analysis of these biological phenomena within the dataset. The construction of these prompts demonstrates a meticulous understanding of the complexities inherent in biological systems and the importance of capturing this complexity in natural language processing tasks. By providing a standardized framework for describing these events, researchers can better analyze and understand the relationships between different biological entities and processes, ultimately contributing to advancements in fields such as drug discovery, disease modeling, and personalized medicine. Furthermore, the use of natural language prompts enables researchers to leverage recent advances in artificial intelligence and machine learning to identify patterns and trends within large datasets that may not be immediately apparent through manual analysis. This could lead to novel insights into the underlying mechanisms driving various biological processes and potentially uncover new therapeutic targets for treatment of diseases. In conclusion, the MLEE dataset, along with its corresponding natural language prompts, offers a powerful tool for researchers seeking to explore the intricate relationships between biological entities and processes. As researchers continue to refine and expand upon this dataset, it is likely that our understanding of complex biological systems will continue to evolve, paving the way for groundbreaking discoveries and innovations in the life sciences.